Got my hose bucket set up. I showed you in another video. Okay, to clean a Goodman condenser coil, you just want to get there at the right angle. You want to be careful that your hose spray isn't too strong. If it is, you might want to back it off a bit. This one's a little strong for this unit. You don't want it to start bending the coils. In this, you got to go at an angle to get past these initial fins. These act as a good guard, especially against like sometimes the larger palm tree fronds that'll blow off in the wind. They'll hit against this cage, and rather than hitting the coil, they'll bounce off of the cage. So it's kind of nice. These units, if something hits it, it'll do a good bend in the coil. So a little bit advantage of these Goodman units. With these, our pressure will go right through, clean out this coil, and then it's got some drains on the bottom to drain it all out. So going all the way around from the top down. See it just spraying right through, letting this puppy breathe. When we're finished, we'll want to rinse off the tray. And we could rinse down inside a little bit. This I got to come from the other angle. And the same with this side, it's got to be at the correct angle to get it. And just when we're finished, we want to make sure to rinse off the tray. And that's cleaning the Goodman coils. You can take the lid off, but it's a little bit more involved and a little bit more risky, as you could loosen the wire connections and all that. In my opinion, best way is just to clean it pretty thoroughly from the outside. But maybe some debate on that, but when you're doing a lot of units, I think this is the best way. Can you damage anything by cleaning the coil from the outside and the unit's plugged in, the unit's off, but all your controls are contained in this spot and it's sealed off. So electrically, that's separate. Your compressor has a special kind of cover over it, so that's separate. The AC fan motor is obviously designed to be able to take some rain. Yes, it's electrically there, but it's kind of sealed, and it's got a drain hole plug on the bottom of it that lets water fall out of the bottom of it, basically. In fact, if you were going to mount the fan the other way for some applications, there's a plug that you would switch from the top to the bottom, and that way it would seal that, and then the water could leak out the other way. But so when you're cleaning the coil, you don't, as long as you're not touching the machine at the same time as you're cleaning it, you don't necessarily have to unplug it, although some people would say that it'd be safer to pull the disconnect and then clean it. But as long as you're just not physically touching the machine and you're cleaning the coil, to me it's fine, and there's not really anything that you can mess up by cleaning the coil other than the coils themselves. Just make sure that your spray isn't so strong that it's not bending the fins, and if it's that way, then you can just adjust your spray nozzle and get the right effect to clean the coils without doing any damage. And you'll literally see the water come out of the other side. If you wanted to make it better, you could take the lid off. Of course, then you'd pull the disconnect, discharge your capacitors, take the lid off, and then clean from the inside out. But when you're doing hundreds of units, you're just basically cleaning it and making it so that the machine can get rid of the heat. And one thing I would say is, just after you're done rinsing, if you've got 2 units on a tray, rinsing off the tray so all the dirt doesn't get sucked back in the next time the unit runs. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Okay, and just to follow up and reiterate this a little bit more and add some more detail. I don't think you actually want to take the lids off these a lot of times because it can stretch the wires. You can disconnect everything, then you've got to reconnect it. Again, there's a little bit more issue, especially for regular everyday people. You know, you need to make sure that you pull the disconnect, discharge the capacitor, pull the lid, you know, and then clean it. But if you're cleaning it just on a regular clean, I don't think you need to pull the lid, my opinion on that, in that you can clean it from the outside in and then just clean off the tray underneath. Again, you just don't want to touch the unit while you're spraying it. And you don't want to touch the spray either that's going to the unit. Advantages of cleaning these in the winter, in this season, I think just before the end of the year or something along those lines, and you want to make sure you do that when it's like above 50 degrees. The advantages of doing it then is units are less likely to turn on, especially if you're doing a lot of units and you don't have necessarily control of when units turn on, and you don't want to pull all the disconnects and everything in those types of situations. So I think this is about the best season to do this. What else? I don't think you really want to use coil cleaners. In fact, a lot of units recommend not using any type of coil cleaner. You can use just water. It does a pretty good job of forcing the dirt out. If you do use a coil cleaner, I would use the Enviro coil cleaners, as they're less corrosive. And any kind of coil cleaner you use, you really want to try to clean it off everything. But the Enviro coil cleaner is less corrosive and less damaging to plants and stuff if the water is going to run into any kind of planter beds or anything like that. But yeah, that's about it on these. Hope you find these videos helpful. I'm out to make videos on the most likely repairs and tasks that you'll need to complete in your lifetime. Hope the videos serve you well, and if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe for the latest. Hope you get a lot out of the videos. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. And like everything, use all of this information at your own risk. It's up to you to practice safety to preserve your life and the life of your equipment. Hope you gain some nice ground.